And this is where we debated the most. I think I know why they did this approach. It's easy to move around knobs for such a simplified UI style because you just open Figma. Business solution, it's a quick way of creating UI style, but it has negative side. Completely redo the whole UI and make it even more pleasant and gooey, sluggy, morphing visuals that are on the web page. Join me on this popular synthesizer review and let's see why it got popular. Okay, so let's move to the most interesting part, to the user interface and the style. And this is where we debated the most, because when you are looking at the style, you definitely bring in some associations and some type of users. And with Arturia approach, they also choose a little bit different style than they typically are for their product line. So they not only differentiated themselves from the competitors, they also differentiated themselves from their own product line, their software. I think I know why they did this approach. It's easy to move around knobs for such a simplified UI style because you just open Figma and move the knobs around and here you go, you just can implement it straight away. Or probably you already do it with a code and you are going to get the same quick result with the changes. And why I'm thinking that this is the really way, because when you look at these tiny elements, tiny imperfections in user interface, that's probably what they actually did, because there's some indents are not equal or not the same, or just inconsistency within the light. So you can find some light sources that appeared out of nowhere. So there's no such thing as motivated light in this user interface. So basically there's three light sources that are not motivated here, and controls are also has this kind of weird light that doesn't work as it's supposed to work, I guess. But in the end, this style is easy to quickly move around the blocks, the modules, the controls. So I guess this is good as a business solution. It's a quick way of creating UI style, but it has negative side. It's oversimplified, lack of details, and basically brings not that refined audience as well. Well, yet it's for everyone. Like, it's a pretty simplified style that is for everyone. So it's good and bad thing at the same time, right? But it's a design solution. We also added this small changes that also turned out to be more of UX changes, because we corrected a hierarchy a little bit in order to show where you're at, and we also made one quite unnoticeable change, which is hard to notice, but it's I think it's quite crucial, because when you look at this user interface, you definitely see that the active color is blue, and you don't want to assign this blue color to your logo, because logo doesn't do anything. It's just an indication of the name, and you don't have it. It shouldn't be blue, I guess. So probably making it just a regular gray color is a better solution. But for example, amplifying the tab page where you are at is better for just general where you're at and what you're working on, for the initial stages where you're just getting along with the product and we're trying to figure out how to work with it. If you're a non-pro user, right? You definitely would see some promo materials, some tutorials online how to do this or that sound, but you are ending up alone with the product, and you have to have like at least a quick understanding where you're at, what knob to move, what gain to control, etc., etc., etc. So we made this kind of small iterations, not too much, but to my opinion, it got a little bit cleaner. A little bit more contrast to make the controls more readable. I even wanted to make more changes, but that would eventually had to completely redo the whole UI and make it even more pleasant and with details and more margins for all these elements. So, well, it works that way. Okay, let's let it be so, right? And I think we should also consider that, especially with the style, that when you are looking at the competitors field and you put your product into it, it's easy to differentiate, right? Well, you just see these guys are black, these guys are light, this has this 3D wave, this guy has this nice 3D elements, and basically you differentiate themselves within this array of visuals. Sometimes you can make mistakes, like introduce a light color scheme that is, it's good, but uses it's not the point that would make the user purchase your product. It's just to please the already existing audience, or just to give a reference to probably a competitor who started with a light theme. So the more important here, I guess, is to see what style is already used with the existing software. Probably not the competitors, but all other existing software. And to my opinion, it doesn't work really good to Arturia and to this kind of style, because you would definitely find some cheap, affordable, some more affordable products, probably below $200, obviously below $200, like $20, $50. And that also has a tag that creates a tag towards a similar style, towards this style. So be aware of that, because this style is easily recreated, and basically you are bringing the lower price expectations with this style. So the light theme is okay. It's even a little bit better in terms of we gave it pros and cons to the light theme, but I don't think it's quite popular, because most of users tend to use the dark color scheme just because of the environment. They typically work within dark environment, and they don't want a light beam into their eyes with a light color scheme. So this is why we have more dark software for audio producers. Consider that as well. In terms of technology, this is the part where we have also debated, because we don't see any reasonable sign of technology within the style. So I guess it's good, because Arturia positioned themselves as a polychrome synthesizer. Basically, they introduced these two engines, the wavetable and this another engine. So basically, you can create a more complex sound with that, and we cannot clearly see that within the style. We only can see that there are many rainbow styles that are referring to a lot of elements combined together, and that's it. So no obvious references or kudos to the original technology of wavetable synthesis here, which, by the way, is better represented by the Serum, for example, and even some other software synthesizers. So when we are, as a user, I guess, as a user and as a designer, we always expect some sort of an innovation from audio industry in terms of software, because it's you can create absolutely everything, anything. And why I'm putting Skrillex in this image is because, to my opinion, he made some sort of an innovation in terms of using the technologies to create this complex and interesting bases. And basically he reinvented the way the wavetable synthesis is used, which can hardly be found in the Arturia approach to the UI style. So they haven't innovated, but they have created a really good Swiss knife that would definitely please everyone. So thank you, Skrillex. Move on to another slide and move on to important slide, the mood board. When you're working on the style of products, you typically have these problems transferring your idea to a designer or to the audience. You definitely have some problems by finding the mutual language to the mood board. Sometimes it's not enough to put just the visual references of the wave table, of the controls, etc. Sometimes you have to introduce the similar language, and I think that we tried to recreate what the real mood board could have been when we just introduced this identification of whether the interface should be more to the happier side or to the less happier side. But I guess it's just a mood board that would typically reduce the friction when you are creating some complex software product. Just from the visual style, it's easy to work when you are trying to explain that modern to you is this kind of style, not that kind of style. So probably you should screenshot that to work with your software, just to add it to a mood board, because sometimes, and in most cases, what we found out that developers speak different language when they talk about affordable visual look or expensive visual look. Just visuals are not enough, apparently. So yeah, and to finally conclude and compare this product from movie industry, I'd bring up the Annihilation movie, just because sometimes when you're trying to recreate something, you can go too far into technologies, or you can create something that is unnecessary, but Arturia has done it pretty right. Although I found this reference with this girl standing in front of this magic wall that I have to basically get into, quite funny and quite relatable to this to the gooey, sluggy, morphing visuals that are on the web page. And I find it quite amusing, and at the same time, this is the exact weak point in the branding materials that we found. Although it's stuck into your mind, you just can't unsee it, I guess. So yeah, let me know if you have another movie reference here. I'd be pleased to know, and we'd probably try to discuss it in the comments below. But I guess the reason why I'm saying the movie here is because sometimes it's easy to take references from other industries, and it just gives you the general impression that you want to put into a product. Basically, the general impression from the product is quite positive, but it's created by the visuals of the UI, visuals of the promo materials. Sometimes they quite differ, but in this case, they're working on this Annihilation style, but pleasing to everyone impression. So yet the product is popular, and I'm really happy to be reviewing this case with you guys. The UI part is the weakest element in my opinion. Although it's pretty clean and serves well for easy changes implementation, it still has a huge potential in terms of style and amplification of the Pigments idea or technology representation, especially when it comes to appearance as a justification for the paying that price. I believe that companies like Arturia are the ones who are supposed to bring innovative ideas into UI as well, because they have money and they have great customer base. My conclusions are based on what I see from a graphical point of view and experience running an online creative business. If you want to disagree with me or want to add apps or plugins to be reviewed, I welcome you to the comment section to seek the truth together. And until the next time.